What is going on, guys? I'm SceptileMC or George, the coach of your San Francisco Arcaniners, here to bring you my GBA Season 7 semifinals or conference finals match against Chris, Amano Tui, or coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays. Now, I did play him previously in the season. Oh, before I mention that, Chris's link is in the description below. Please go check him out. He is a fantastic league battler and just a fantastic battler in general. So if you do enjoy my content, you will most certainly enjoy his. So I am going to be just recording the player again, so I can pause it and then explain my thought process in this battle. We did also DC, so I'm going to explain what happens in the DC turn 1 when it looks very strange because we had to reenact it to the best of our abilities. We only DC'd like turn 4, but a lot happened turn 1 that influenced the battle a lot. So his team is the Rhydon, the Buzzwole, the Greninja, the Roserade, the Salazzle, and the Florges. So immediately I see the 2 big threats in the Salazzle and the Buzzwole and the five big threats. The Florges, the Salazzle, the Roserade, the Greninja, and the Buzzwole. If it's Calm Mind, I have a problem with Florges. The Salazzle overall does a lot of damage to my team, and the Roserade is a big threat to my team as well. The Greninja is always a threat because it outspeeds everything on my team, except for Choice Scarf, Mienshao, and then the Buzzwole. If it's Bulk Up, will be easier to deal with in my opinion, because then the Mew and the Togekiss both outspeed it, as well as the Garchomp. If it's Scarf, we could have an issue, but it's easier to play around if it's Scarf just because it can only lock itself into like Ice Punch or Superpower or the Hammer Arm. The Rhydon is the tricky one, because I didn't expect him to bring the Rhydon, so I'm assuming that's going to be like a Stealth Rocker, which is good because that means he's not a Dual Dance set, which could prove very, very problematic for my team. But yeah, so I expect him to want to lead off with either the Greninja, the Roserade, or the Rhydon, all of which I have super effective moves for on my Mew, and I know that he knows that I do like to lead off with my Garchomp, so I think he's going to want to lead off with the Greninja, I'd say. If it's a physically defensive Rhydon, he could go that and just go for Ice Punch because he can live any hit, so. But I do have AV Mew, so I'm going to just lead off with that. I'm going to click play right here, and we're going to get right on into the battle. So I'm going to lead off with my Mew, and he in turn decides to lead off with his Rhydon. Now, you guys are going to see turn 1 that I don't lead off with Mew. I did lead off with Mew, but now I am leading off with Suicune. So, let me pause this real quick and just explain what exactly happened here. So, I led off with Mew against his Rhydon, and I went for Ice Beam. And it did about maybe 40% to him, which confirms that he is a fully specially defensive Rhydon. I actually got the freeze turn 1. So, because I got the freeze turn 1, he wasn't able to get up the rocks like he wanted to. And I also got 2 Ice Beams off on him, and then he switched out into, I believe he switched out into the Florges, so on my 3rd Ice Beam. So what that means is that the Rhydon was frozen at about 25% health. Now, he has actually Roar on this Rhydon to stop any form of setup on my team, which was very good prep on his part. But because he was at about 80% health down and he couldn't go for anything else except for the Roar, we just decided that I would go into Suicune, and judging by the damage that Ice Beam did, my Scald would not actually be able to kill him. It'll do about the same as 2 Ice Beams off Mew, so I do go for Scald. If I get the burn, then I get the burn because it'd be frozen anyway. I don't. That's almost exactly the health that he was at anyway, and he actually roars me out perfectly into the Mew, so we can continue the game from where it was at here. I'm just going to click the Ice Beam because I know he's going to switch out into the Florges because that's what he did last time, and I did get the Ice Beam off on it. So now it's basically like it was before, but the Rhydon was frozen, but it doesn't outspeed anything on my team anyway, so that's fine. I luckily don't get the freeze on the Florges, which would be annoying, but so right here, I am going to switch out into Registeel because it is my designated counter to the Florges. If he wants to pull a double, that's fine. He'll probably go into Buzzwole. He actually does pull a double, but he ends up pulling the double into the Salazzle. So right here, I don't know what type of set this Salazzle is. It could be Choice Specs. If he's Choice Specs, he has about a 20% chance to kill me with Fire Blast. If he's not Specs, then and he's a Life Orbed, then he has no chance to kill me with Fire Blast, and if he's not even Life Orb, then he can't do anything. So I'm not playing around with this Salazzle. I don't care what this Salazzle wants to do to my Registeel. This is one of the biggest threats to my team because it outspeeds everything. And he goes for Fire Blast. That is not a fire boosting move. I talked to him after the battle. It was actually a Toxic Plate, I think it was. So I go for Earthquake, and I take out the Salazzle extremely early on, which is huge for me. So I'm able to take out the Salazzle, which is great. And right here, he is going to go out into Ivan, which is the Buzzwole. And I'm looking at my Registeel, and I'm like, I can still use this thing. I do have rocks. I don't want him to go for a Hammer Arm right here and just take me out. So I'm going to go into Togekiss. It could be problematic if he does go for Sub, but I didn't think he would go for Sub on me. He does just go for Superpower right here. And judging by that, he's either Scarfed or... Well, I can't tell right now, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the Scarf mod on his team because he knows I like to run Scarfers. And I don't think he'd run Scarf Greninja or the Scarf Roserade. It could have been Scarf Salazzle possibly, but that doesn't make much sense. I am just going to go for an Air Slash right here, and I am going to be able to just barely pick up the 2-hit KO on this Rhydon. I just can't miss my next Air Slash. It would have been frozen anyway, so it just would have been nice to get off the... just pick up the KO on this, but I do anyway, so it doesn't matter. Not able to get up his rocks. Not able to take out my Togekiss, which is huge. You guys are going to see the rocks that he doesn't get up actually come into play. It changed how I had to play this game a lot, and not having rocks on my side of the field. He is going to go into Roserade right here, though. Now, if this is an offensive Roserade, I can't really... I can take a hit, but I'll do only about like 75% back to him, so there's really no point. I'm just going to go out into my Registeel right here. I should have gone for Air Slash because I did EV very specifically to take this thing on, but I decided that my Registeel is less valuable at the health it's at. He is just going to, as the beeping for my basement goes to come into play again, he is just going to switch out into Ivan right here. And I thought about this, and I think I do just go for my Stealth Rocks. Now right here, I think he's gonna overpredict and go for Ice Punch. It was risky for me, but I figured if he's a subset, he would click Sub on this turn, if anything. And he actually does, in fact, just go for the Ice Punch. So I made the right prediction there. It does absolutely nothing to Registeel, and I go for Aerial Ace. So I reveal the Aerial Ace, and now I just want to see for sure if he's Choice Scarf. I'm almost certain at this point that he is. I'm like 60% positive, and I'm going to switch into Garchomp right here, because Garchomp isn't the most useful Pokemon against his team, especially because his physical attacker with Rhydon gone, and this is his only other physical attacker on his team, so I do decide to send in Garchomp. I actually live on 11, and I get off the Rough Skin and the Rocky Helmet. Now, at this point, I am 95% positive that he is a Choice Scarf set. But there's always that tiny 5% that he's not, and I figured at this point, I'm ahead in the battle. Garchomp's gonna die to Spikes anyway. I might as well stay in and just see if he's Choice Scarfed. If he's not Choice Scarfed, I go for Dragon Claw, and then he goes for Superpower or an Ice Punch, and I take him out with the Rough Skin and the Rocky Helmet. If he's Choice Scarfed, he goes for Ice Punch, and he's put in range where I don't think he can switch into Rocks again. So overall, my best play is to just stay in with Garchomp. He does turn out to be Choice Scarfed, and he is just going to take me out. So now, obviously, I'm now 100% positive that this is a Choice Scarf variant. So, very good for me that I know that, and also very good for me that this thing drops down. But now I have to play a little bit safe, because I am ahead in this game. So I can play extremely safe now. I just need to make sure I don't make any huge misplays, and I should be okay in this game. I do get hurt by the Spikes on my Suicune. I didn't want to go into Registeel yet in Curse Up, just because he does have that Greninja still. He does have the Roserade, which could carry the HP Fire, and I'm not at a range where I can take two of those if he has an offensive spread. I am just going to go for Ice Beam, expecting him to either want to save this as fodder or go into Roserade, and I do just take out the Buzzwole, which is great for me because that Buzzwole was a threat to my team with the Beast Boost. Right here, though, he is just going to go out into Roserade. I do want to save this, because I don't know if it's Calm Mind Calm Mind on the floor just yet, and if he's not Calm Mind, I can potentially sweep with this thing in the late game. So I am going to switch out into Captain right here, which is my Mew. As I believe right here, he does just go for a Giga Drain. So I can make one of two plays here. I can go for the Psychic, or I can go for the Volt Switch. And again, this is probably the biggest threat to my team right now, and I know there's a chance he's going to switch in into Greninja, and I want to click the Volt Switch. But I figured me just learning that this thing is either Life Orb or something is better, and then I can go into Mienshao, I can get prior damage, and I can go for the U-turn on the next turn or the Poison Jab. If I can set up his team to where Poison Jab will kill the Roserade as well as kill the Greninja, then I can just Poison Jab the rest of his team with Mienshao and then put him in range of a Nasty Plot Sweep on the Florges. He decides here, because a Dark Pulse would have actually killed me from this range, only if he was Life Orb, because I do have the Assault Vest. Hydro Pump was not going to kill me even if he was Life Orbed, only because of my AV. He actually misses the attack, which is unfortunate, and I go for Volt Switch. And that gets off a huge amount of damage on the Greninja, and I'm able to pull the switch back out into my Panda, which is my Choice Scarf Mienshao. Because he didn't hit the Hydro Pump, I don't know if this thing is actually Choice Scarfed or not. I do just click U-turn though, and he's not Choice Scarf, so I don't have anything to worry about there. I take out the Greninja, and now it's just I need to scout to see what his last two moves, or what his last move is on the Roserade. Is it Synthesis, or is it HP Ground or Fire? And if it's HP Ground or Fire, then the Registeel can't set up on it, and I have to save that for later. If he is actually Synthesis, then my Registeel can actually clean up in the end game and just go for Curse. He goes for Sludge Bomb right here, and he's able to do about 60% to me, which tells me that he's not at all offensive. And I go for Air Slash, and I'm able to do about 75% to him. Nah, maybe 60. It's like 60 or 65. And that is pretty good for me right here. I do see that he gets his Black Sludge, obviously, because he outspeeds me. So he has enough speed to outspeed my Togekiss. I do want to save this because I do have the Roost and the Nasty Plot, and he doesn't have up the rocks. So on this turn, I am going to switch into Registeel. I did get the prior damage I wanted on it, so that I could just go for the prior damage I wanted. So I would force him to either go for the Synthesis, or on this turn, he's just going to fire off an HP Fire. But because he's not invested offensively, HP Fire is not going to be able to kill me, actually. Just because of the bulk I have, it's not going to be able to 2-hit KO or anything. And then he reveals the Synthesis as I set up a Curse. So if he was HP Fire there, he could have gotten 2 HP Fires off on me, which would have brought me in range of potentially a Moonblast off the Florges. But I see the Synthesis, and I know my Registeel is golden right now. I know my Registeel is just in the clear to run through the rest of this man's team. Now, I could have potentially just only gone up 2 Curses, but then I would have only done 40 to 49% with Earthquake on the Florges. So I figured I would just continuously curse up here. I do curse up a lot. I curse up to, I think, +4, and that will just guarantee that I can 2-hit KO the Florges with EQ. I can KO the Roserade with Aerial Ace, and yeah, so the end of this game, guys, is just going to be me cursing up. We do actually pick up the big W in this match. There isn't anything he can do versus me. He's just going to continuously Giga Drain my Registeel, and I'm pretty sure I'm gaining back more health with leftovers than what he's doing. If not, it's doing like 1 or 2 damage at the most. So I curse up again. I think now I'm at +3. I was calcing it, and I'm like, you know what? I probably should just get to +4 here. I'm going to click it again. He does just go for Giga Drain again. It's going to drop me down. So he is doing about 5 damage to me every single time. I do get up this last curse, though, and then I'm thinking, all right, I can just click Aerial Ace now. I can kill the Roserade. I can 2-hit KO the Florges. I should be in the clear. So he is just gonna, I'm gonna get my leftovers there. He is just gonna fire off another Giga Drain on this turn. There really isn't anything that he can do to me at this point. He decided not to run HP Fire on this, which I think was a mistake on his part, because I do like my Registeel, and he knows that. I think I brought it to my last like 4 or so games, and it's done a lot of work in all of them. So Registeel is gonna kill off the Roserade. It already killed off the Salazzle, so, and he's just going to go into Florges, and I just got to hope that he doesn't crit me here. He doesn't do some Bufu thing that sets up and just kills me. He goes for HP Ground, HP Fire, whatever it is. I go for Earthquake, and he is not able to pick up the KO versus me. I am able to go for that Earthquake. It does about like 60% to him, and he's not going to be able to survive another Earthquake. But I want to finish this game in style right here, so I'm not going to click Earthquake versus him. I figured just seeing a Registeel go for Aerial Ace is just so much funnier than it pounding the ground. So he goes for HP Fire, able to bring me down to 10 HP, and I click Aerial Ace, and I'm just thinking, please kill, and it goes down. So guys, we defeat Amano Tui, the Tampa Bay Luxrays, 5-0 in the semifinals. It would have been a much closer game if I didn't get the freeze turn 1. And I want to specify that. This game really did not show off what Amano is as a battler and a prepper. Rhydon, if it got up the rocks, I would have had to change my game plan completely. The fact that I could bring in a Togekiss so like freely against his team, the Registeel always recovered after I sent it in. A Garchomp would have actually died to the first Ice Punch if he had up the rocks, because rocks did 12 HP and I had only 11 left after that Ice Punch. The Mew could potentially not like have lived the Hydro Pump or the Dark Pulse, depending on his spread. So it really would have changed the game a lot. Do I think I could have pulled it out still? Yes, of course I do. Just because on my prep I did think there's a chance he'll get up rocks versus me. So I did think about that. I probably would have changed my playstyle a bit towards the end. I don't think I really would have played as safely, which could have been crucial for him winning. Yeah, guys, so that's going to be it for today. We move on to the finals of GBA Season 7 against either the San Francisco Giants or the San Diego Chimchargers. So either Geo or MV we play in the finals. Guys, we have made finals 3 seasons in a row. Wow, that's a feat and a half in my opinion. I'm actually really proud of myself for actually making finals again. I didn't think it would happen this season. I kind of fell out Gen 7 with Pokemon. I'm not a fan of Gen 7, to be honest, as much as I am of Gen 6. But I had a rough start, and I picked it up. I kind of just learned how to play again, I guess, from like, not season, but like a week 6 onwards. I kind of learned how to play. I just kind of regained my feet, and I was able to just continue playing, I guess. And then I started doing what I do best, and I just have been picking up the wins ever since. So anyways, guys, next week I will be in the finals of the GBA, and we will be playing either MV or Geo. So guys, if you did enjoy the video, I would really appreciate it if you did comment, like, rate, or subscribe. I'm SceptileMC or George, the coach of your San Francisco Arcaniners, and I'll catch you guys next time. That was a mistake. Peace.